I'm Lars Bildsten, the director here at the KITP, and I'm recovering from a cold, so I hopefully will make it through the day. I want to welcome you all here. As many of you know, we've been doing these teachers' conferences for quite a long time. It's a highlight for us to be reminded of all the efforts you make to educate our students, which some fraction of which get so excited by physics they can't help themselves and end up having a career as a physicist. And so I thank you all for coming and giving us your time, because I know it's tough to get away. Of course, the weather here is cooperating, which you don't know, of course, when you sign up. It could be a rainy day. I want to make a few announcements before we start. So there's been a number of transitions here at the Institute. Many of you have been here before, and David Gross was the director at the time, and I'm not sure if David's going to show up today. He probably will. Yeah, I'm sure David will show up at some point. The other transition we had was the recruitment of a new deputy director, Greg Huber, who is taken over from the excellent work that Dan Hone had been doing. So I'd like to give a round of applause to Dan, who had been doing a lot of our efforts. So most of you know Dan. So Dan had already retired, but then volunteered to work on our outreach efforts. And then I had him retire from his volunteer effort when we hired Greg Huber. So Greg, if you could stand up. So Greg is a deputy director here from the University of Connecticut on a rotation and has taken the responsibility for leading the outreach efforts of the Institute, and so has been working very hard with Brigitte Whaley, who's the main coordinator for this, and we'll thank her after the fact, after the talk, we discover if the talks are any good. No pressure. Okay, so I want to start with first asking, for how many of you is this your first time here? Raise your hands high. Okay, very good. So that's great. We do that. I do that for every conference here. For all of our conferences, it's about 50%, up to a recent conference where it was 85%, and I was wondering. It was because it was a bunch of biologists. So welcome to the Institute. We've got an exciting series of talks today. I'm going to, just to let you know, the town hall discussion is, one of my goals when I became director is to see what the Institute can do to address high school physics education in the U.S. And so what I want to do is open a discussion, give you some of my thinking, but more importantly, get feedback from you. There's nothing yet we've decided to do here at the Institute that's different. We're still doing the teachers conference, but I also would like to get input from all of you about ways in which you think we, the Institute, can make a difference. It's really sort of peripheral in some sense to our mission, but I view it as very important, and I'll explain why when I give my presentation at 11:45. So just to prepare you for that, please think that through as to what you think we can do that would help with the issue of physics education in the country. Okay, so with that, a few bureaucratic announcements. Of course, by now all of you know that Jocelyn and Melissa are the staff who are helping this event, as well as the computer staff. So everybody's usually wearing badges, but they're standing around in an ominous manner so you know who they are. Lunch and all of the breaks are in the courtyard. The restrooms are directly behind, on this side, the men's and women's. Upstairs, the same. And then down the hall is the men's, and up directly above that is the ladies' room. Those are the restrooms. There's a wireless here. This is the password and the which wireless web to get onto. That's just in case you don't really think the speaker is telling you the truth and you want to check. Your email and access is otherwise blocked, of course. I think other announcements. I don't have my normal cheat sheet. Anything else, really? Jocelyn, parking. Everybody's here, so I presume you've parked.
Not necessarily legally.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so let me transition now to, yep. Who at the NSF to tell what a great job we do? Yes, sure. I could give you yes, that's a great idea, and I'll write down the name of our new program manager at the NSF, and I just was visiting her 2 weeks ago, and it would be good for her to understand what we're doing. So I'd be happy to do that, and we'll put it up. I'll put it up on there. And then I'll warn her in advance so she's not confused. Yes?
I'll remember on the normal announcements that it's important to have the microphone in hand when you're asking a question, because the teachers who aren't here that want to hear your question won't be hearing you unless you have a microphone in your hand. It will just be dead air on the audiovisual.
Okay, so I'd like to hand it over to the teacher survey form. I guess this is in your packet?
Everybody has one in their packet. We'd like it filled out
Yep.
today.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'd like to do is introduce Luis Davidovich, who's going to head off this first session, and I'm going to hand it over to him. Luis.
So welcome to KITP in Santa Barbara. Our first speaker is Gerald Milburn, and I'd like to just say a few words about him. He's a great scientist in the area of quantum optics and quantum information. He's at the University of Queensland in Brisbane, Australia. Nice weather there too, right? It's okay. And he's the author actually of 4 books, 2 technical books, very well known, one on quantum optics with Dan Walls, and the other on quantum measurement and quantum control with Howard Wiseman. But besides that, he's also the author of 2 non-technical books for general audiences. Maybe some of you have already read them, very, very nice books, one on the Schrödinger processor, and the other on Schrödinger's, on Feynman processor, and the other on Schrödinger's machines. So I'm very glad to be the chair of his section, and I'm quite sure that you are going to be happy about this talk.